Lori Hayes here. Welcome back to Coffee Break. I want to start recording my coffee break sessions in different locations just for entertainment value for you. And I like to travel, so I promise to include some videos from the beach. But for today, I am at a place in Durham, and you've got to check this out. Like, I'm just going to try not to make you sick to your stomach. But I mean, this place is just loaded with bamboo. It's a Korean barbecue place. Isn't that cool? And they have this amazing garden. And in a little bit, I will take you with me and we'll just kind of quietly skirt through here. And I want to show you the scenic atmosphere here. It's just amazing. But I also want to start interviewing other authors and readers. I have a lineup, but it didn't work out for today. So you're stuck with me for a little while. But just a few updates. I I think I have a release date for my book. I've had it for a while, but I was wondering if I was actually going to reach that because I had some significant rewrites to do when I got my edits back, and it took me quite a while. Anyway, but it's back in the hands of my editor, and it is going through the proofreading process. So hopefully, I won't need as many edits or as much time to make that happen. Hopefully, it's just a matter of tweaking here and there, but it never seems to be like that. So, anyway, I just wanted to share that. But I hopefully will uh, reach my deadline, and I don't really want to announce when that is yet because I like to announce that to my newsletter subscribers first. So if you aren't a newsletter subscriber, please go to my website, LoriHayesAuthor.com, subscribe to my newsletter because that's where you're going to get a lot of the information first. And I also usually have some cool giveaways, such as books. And they're not always just my books, but most of them are. But this new book that I have, I can't tell you much about it, but I am so excited. I started researching it in 2018. I got pulled off my project, off my research, because I got a 2 book deal with a publishing company, which is about a mid-sized publishing company. And it was really strenuous because whenever you have a 2 book deal and both books were finished, I had to go through extensive edits with the first book. And then right before Christmas, I turned it in. That was my goals, to get finished with the edits before Christmas. I reached that and I thought, oh my gosh, I have a couple months to just chill because the next book wasn't coming out until the following Christmas. So I thought I had plenty of time. Sure enough, as soon as I got my edits back, or I turned my edits in, like January 1st or something like that, I ended up with edits for my second book. And those were also extensive. And I'm telling you, I was feeling the pain. I was feeling kind of burnout, and I just needed to take a break because I was working full time. I was in the process of purchasing a condo, and I had a family member with a severe health issue that was requiring extensive time plus worrying. But thankfully, that family member is doing well. And after I get distracted for a minute because people are walking by. That's the problem with recording in public. Anyway, um, so I was feeling like I just needed a break because I was working and doing all this other stuff. Then I would come home and I would have to edit. And I would edit in the morning before I went to work. I'd edit on my lunch hour. I would edit in the evening after my family ate dinner and the kids went upstairs to the room because they were teenagers and they like to hide out, which is actually kind of beneficial when, for me at that time, because I needed the quiet time to edit. Anyway, it went like that back and forth. Every time I turned the edits in from one book, then I would a week later get edits from the next book, and it just went on and on. And I am very grateful to having that opportunity to have a two book deal. However, it was quite stressful. But um, I tell you all this because I was researching the project for this book coming out now. I had to put it on hold, but I also knew, since it's based on a true story, that I had to embrace that opportunity to conduct the research, because I wanted to be there during the event, because it was a one-time thing. I drove to a different state, a couple states over. It was about an 8-hour drive with my daughter, and we made sure to sorry, I got distracted again. I made sure to embark on that journey of exploration and research for that book. Then I got pulled off it again. I had releases of my next two books, and then I started on it again, and we were originally planning to pitch it as nonfiction or narrative nonfiction, which reads like a story. And if you didn't know it was true, then you would be surprised by that, because it just reads like a novel. But at that point, I was told I needed to write 3 chapters and a proposal. I did that, but then I was told I needed to write 10 chapters with the proposal. So I did that. I got pulled off my newest project, which I'll tell you about in a minute. It's a beach book. I got pulled off of that, and then I wrote the 10 chapters. Then I went back to my beach book. It's just been crazy. This whole journey has just been very interesting. So I was then told I had to write the whole book to pitch it. So that's what I did. I pulled off my beach book again, wrote this narrative nonfiction, and my agent pitched it. We had a lot of big interest at the big 5 publishing houses, but we actually never got a signed deal. And one of the publishers I was really, really excited about. Well, all of them I was excited. However, one in particular I pretty much wrote the book for. They didn't end up taking it, I think, because it was a true story, and it was in first person, and it was about somebody else. And I think there was some concern because I wasn't that person. It was kind of like a memoir, but in the first person. Anyway, those are always a hard sell. So I got pulled off again, and I was writing on my beach book, and then I decided after a long journey that we were going to go ahead and publish it in a unique fashion. And so that's where I'm at right now. And the release date is supposed to be December 1st. Hopefully my proofs come back and they're fairly clean, but that's usually not the case, as I was saying. So in the meantime, I'm back on my beach book again because I'm waiting for my proof copy, and I'm also waiting for my book cover so I can share it with you. It's being worked on, but we had to know exactly the page count and everything for that book, which left us not able to exactly proceed forward with the cover of the book, because you have to know the spine width. Anyway, I could have posted the ebook, but ebook copy of the cover, but I wanted the whole thing done because I wanted to make sure before I announced the date that I had a good likelihood of coming through, because I didn't want to promise you something and then disappoint you. Anyway, I went back to my beach book. I'm currently writing that right now. I'm on my end of my second draft, about almost to the dark moment where everything is going wrong. So I'm almost at the end of that. However, as soon as I get my proofs, I will be pulled off of it again, and I will go back to the one that's getting ready to be published. And anybody who knows me, I'm a very linear person. So the back and forth I find a little bit difficult because my voice is a little bit different in each one of these stories, because one is based on a true story and then my beach book. And I was surprised because I usually can't hear my own voice. And by own voice, I mean the way you tell a story, the colorful setting, just the description. It has a feel to it. And I was able to, after I was writing and working on the book that's getting ready to come out, when I went back to my beach book, I was actually able to hear my own voice in the beach book, which is exciting. Also, another exciting thing, since this is like my probably 12th book, is that my writing is getting better. And so my first draft was a lot cleaner than I thought. And my second draft is like almost publishable quality, I think. So my third draft is usually when I go back and I just read for flow and punctuation and grammar. And then it'll get sent to my editor to be edited. As again, that's usually an extensive that's usually requires extensive work on my part when I get it back. So I'm thinking that maybe, hopefully, that will be published next year. It just depends on if a publisher picks it up or not, and what that process looks like. If you're in one of the top 5 houses, then a lot of times it could be actually 2025 before it's published. I'll keep you posted on that. But first, I have to finish the darn thing. And it would be great just to write from beginning to end without getting pulled off of it so many times. However, it's been a journey, and I love both of these stories. They're completely different. As again, they're written in a slightly different voice. They're both first person because I wrote in third person for a while, as you know, my first 2 books. However, when I sold my third and my fourth book to the medium-sized publishing house, they had me rewrite Island Summer from third person to first person, and that's an extensive rewrite, because if you go from first person to third person, you're already in someone's deep point of view. But to go from third person, which is like she and he said, it took me quite a while to rewrite that, but I only had, I think, 3 months to do that in, maybe if that. So I just started writing all my books in first person so that I wouldn't have to do that again. So it's kind of ironic that this book I lost a contract for, I think, because it was written in the first person. I mean, it's just quite involved, and I'm getting in quite a lot of bit of detail. But I wanted to share these things with you because the behind the scenes process of an author is sometimes interesting to readers to know what goes into a book. And that's why I always say, please leave reviews on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Goodreads, because there is such a large amount of work that goes into writing a book that is a reward for the author, and it also helps authors get known, or Amazon, let's say, will start promoting your book after you get, I think it's like 40 or 50 reviews, and people will read the book and they'll say they love it, but to get reviews can be sometimes difficult because it's time out of a person's day that they have to go to the site that they bought it from and then review it. But authors always appreciate it. It's so important. So if you have read a book, or if you've read one of my books and you haven't reviewed it yet, please do that. It just makes a huge difference. So off my soapbox on that, let's go take a walk around this place because it's just so cool, and I really want to share it with you. So I'm going to pause this for a moment. Okay, so here we are. This is where I was sitting while I was recording to this video. Isn't that cool? I love bamboo. It's very common in the South, but it's almost considered a weed because it will just overtake your gardens, and you have to keep it in a contained area or it will just go crazy. But anyway, this is this cute little cafe that you can sit at. This place is incredibly huge. All right, so there are all these different places that we can go. I'll just pop into here for a minute. And this is the outdoor garden. I hope the sun isn't glaring too much, but there is actually a little waterfall right there. I'll get closer so you can see it. And there are these koi fish in there. This is so neat. I'll try to not get patrons in my thing. Can you see the fish? Aren't they cool? Okay, so this is where I have started my own writing group, which is really cool. And we sit here and do writing sprints, and we also do networking because networking is really important as a writer. So there are these really cool little tunnels that you can go through, and there are all these little nooks and crannies. But check out all of this bamboo. So it's a Korean barbecue style place, and I don't know if it's some kind of Buddha. I forgot the name of that, but I don't know if there's bamboo in Korea or not. I guess this is where they store all their um, heaters, more bamboo, and you wouldn't know that there's a major shopping area right behind here with all these stores. There was a stuff there. Just this cute little place that you could write or meditate if you wanted, or read a book. And I'm just gonna not say much. I'm just gonna walk through here because I don't wanna, I'm gonna steer away from these people, but there are these tables here like that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna just walk through here. So there's this little bar here. So they've got this QR code that you can scan on your phone. And then they have this station where you help yourself to go boxes, chopsticks, spices, water. And they'll, when you do the QR code, it tells them um, your table number, and then they just show up out of nowhere and bring your food to you. You pay on this app. So it's a very efficient process. Isn't this just cool? There's all these little writing places. I'm not gonna show you these people, but everybody's just sitting out here. It's beautiful. It's probably 75 degrees. I just think this is cool. This is the entrance to the garden. And anyway, it's it's a beautiful day out. Nice and sunny, short sleeves required. Although I have a thin long sleeve shirt on, but I'm actually kind of hot. So all these like nooks and crannies. More bamboo. And then we're just heading back to the table I was originally sitting at. Also, there is, look at this big old tree. There is inside it is really cool as well. There's a bar area, there's a cafe area. And if you were to meet somebody here, it would be difficult for them to find you unless they knew exactly where you were sitting. Okay, so I'm returning back to my table. And I'm going to pause this again so that I don't make you dizzy. I hope you enjoyed the tour. I wanted to tell you more about my writing group because I'm really excited about it. It's basically a networking opportunity where writers can meet other writers. We visit for a little while, then we do 30-minute writing sprints, 2 or 3 of them. And then we meet on Wednesday mornings from like 10 to 1. And then they're in between each writing sprint, we have time to network and chat with other people. And then we do 3 of those, and then at the end we can order food and network and talk and get to know each other better while we eat. So on the warm days, we're certainly outside writing. It's beautiful, but the sun is actually a glare. At times you have to sit in the shade, which is what I'm doing right now. And it's kind of hard to write. It kind of gives you a headache if your screen has a glare on it. I'm just going to turn a little bit so that the sun's